I've said this before, but I'm not very experienced with classic Mario. I'm pretty sure if I played these games more when I was younger, I'd probably be a lot more positive and go a lot more in depth with these games. I'm probably gonna remake that Mario video later on. Still, just because I haven't grown up with something doesn't mean I don't see it as quality. Ever since the development of the first Mario game, the team always wanted Mario to ride a horse, uh, as well as having a gun.
Yoshi!
Super Mario World, the fourth Super Mario game, released in 1990 for the Super Famicom and a year later on the SNES. Originally, when testing out how a Mario game would work on the SNES, they ported the original three games to the system. That version would later become Super Mario All-Stars, which we'll talk about in a later video. With the power of the SNES allowing them to make more complex games, things that were seemingly impossible on the NES, like having Mario ride on a horse, were actually possible. I don't really know how to transition this intro into the game, so... The SNES was a huge graphical upgrade compared to the NES. Just putting Mario World and 3 right next to each other shows that. They were able to now put so much more detail in the sprites compared to the original 3 games. Mario alone is more detailed than most of the sprites in those games, and it actually looks very accurate to the cover, having multiple different colors to even add shading. The entire game is just way more colorful and detailed. The enemies, power-ups, backgrounds, all of it just pops out way more. And there are so many different backgrounds and themes for the levels now. It's really hard to describe anything much further than that. It's just an upgrade and there's really not much to talk about. Just look at it. Just look at the Koopas. They walk now! The gameplay of Super Mario World at a glance doesn't look any different from the last game, but it does differ and even improve on aspects and the feel of 3. Because the NES now has more buttons on the controller, they were able to add one new move, the spin jump. This move is so fucking awesome. You can kill enemies easily, bounce off thwomps, and even destroy these new blocks that replace the old standard blocks. The spin jump is a small but really cool addition to Mario's moveset, and I just realized this move just becomes a part of his base moveset, like it's in every other game I can think of. Mario himself also just feels very fine-tuned. He's still a bit heavy, but feels a bit faster and less slippery. I think it also helps that he gets a lot of airtime when bouncing off an enemy. The Fire Flower and Mushroom make the return, with a new power-up joining, the Cape Feather. The Cape Feather is a new power-up for the game that basically allows you to fly. I'm serious, like just fly. You need to gain momentum like the Tanuki Leaf, but after that, you can just fly in the air for a while. Pushing the D-pad back and forth in rhythm is what allows you to stay in the air. It's just like the Tanuki Leaf, but way better. You can float down in the air without mashing the A button, and it has a way better attack range. I love the cape, but it's kinda sad it never really comes back in any other game. Well, not in any Mario game. The final new power-up is the P-Balloon. Yep. Another new gameplay feature we see in this game is that horse idea that's finally brought to life. Yoshi. That's a dinosaur? Yoshi adds a new aspect to the gameplay. He can walk and bounce on most sharp objects, unlike Mario. And his biggest attribute? Yoshi has the ability to eat just about any enemy in the game. The hitbox of Yoshi's tongue when jumping is a bit wacky, and it requires a bit more timing and precision. But overall, it's a great move that even goes through walls and pipes. Yoshi is just fun to use in general, and expands the moveset in so many ways. But you will kind of feel like an asshole for letting him die points. I didn't really talk about the soundtrack of the games in the last 3 videos because, well, there wasn't really much to talk about in my opinion. I just don't find the soundtracks in the NES Mario games to be very memorable, aside from some of them that are remixed in every other Mario game. The soundtrack of Super Mario World is kind of interesting to talk about because most of it is just a motif of the title song. Almost every track in the game is just a twist on the main theme. I like it. To me, it's something that just really ties all the levels in the game together. I just like all the ways they remix that theme, especially the track that plays in the underwater levels. Mario, Peach, and Luigi, he's here too, all decided to take a vacation by going to this magical place called Dinosaur Island. But while they were relaxing, Bowser and his little shits kidnapped Peach, trapped all the Yoshis into eggs, and took over the island. The overall of the game is pretty cool. The way they expanded and improved from 3 is incredible. There are 6 worlds to go through, generally having about 7 levels in each. Compared to 3, the levels in the world are pretty forgiving, but they can still provide plenty of challenges at points. I probably should have mentioned this during the gameplay section, but I'll just say it here. The slopes are slippery as fuck. They're usually put in areas of the level where it's very easy to fall off, or they put a bunch of distractions or enemies near you. The water levels. They're okay, I guess. They're better than the last 2 games, but not by much. The castles in this game are pretty interesting, and where the difficulty of the main game comes in. I really enjoy all the gimmicks that accompany these levels. There's even these cute little cutscenes that play after beating these shit-ass bosses. We are 5 games in, and these bosses still suck ass. It's like you're going through this extremely well-designed and extremely fun fortress that tests you on your experience from its world, and it just ends with a wet fart. They're just so damn easy. You'll definitely finish most of these in less than a minute. I died once. And the only reason I ever did die was because I got careless. To be honest, that's the only reason you'll ever get hit. You're gonna be so bored of playing these, you're just gonna stop paying attention, and the boss will actually get an opportunity to hit you. You can say this for all of these Mario games, and a lot of the games after this one. These bosses are bland and boring. It's the one thing that this series struggles with, but I didn't want to repeat myself in later Mario videos, so I thought I could just say it here. Back to what I was saying, once you beat a castle, you get a cute little cutscene of Mario saving a kidnapped Yoshi, and destroying these castles in various ways. I'm pretty sure most people have seen the one where he picks up and punts the castle away, but there's one that's even more funny. He grabs a goddamn mop and just wipes it away. These cutscenes are ridiculous, and they just add a lot of charm to the game, which is something I can't really say about the last 3. Mario World has a pretty good and challenging finale. World 7 was difficult as hell, but nothing unmanageable. What I really want to talk about is the final level of the game, Bowser's Castle. It has a really cool gimmick. Once you enter, you get a choice of entering 4 doors, all with completely different layouts, with 4 more doors, which also have completely different layouts. It's a super cool idea that I don't think they've ever really done in this series later on. This gimmick really makes the final level stand out. The final boss isn't anything special, but I'm pointing it out solely for the fact that it utilizes the throwing mechanic, and it's a really fun gimmick that makes it stand out from a lot of the other bosses in this series. Super Mario World is an incredibly well-made game. Hey, we're not done yet. There's still something else we need to talk about. Mario 3's whole design was focused on puzzles and secrets, and I didn't fully like it. It wasn't a bad idea. It's just that how the fuck are you gonna figure out some of this shit without a guide? World, on the other hand, cut down on all the hidden stuff and secrets, and in my opinion, they changed it in a good way. The ghost houses were a pretty good compromise for these more puzzle-like levels. Sometimes you really need to think about where you're gonna go in these levels, as you can easily get stuck in a loop. The 4th world, the Forest of Illusion, is a pretty good example on how the map and secrets work overall. You could get stuck in a loop in the overworld if you don't find a secret exit in one of the levels, but if you do, it tends to lead you to a secret path to another level, or even a secret world. This is where the real game begins. Star Road, one of the secret worlds in the game. It consists of 5 interesting but easy levels. By this point in the game, you really need to utilize the mechanics and power-ups and really understand how the game works. So Star Road works like this. You go through a level normally and nothing happens. But by this point, you've learned from your playthrough of the main game. There's clearly something special about the level that you just went through. You go back and you find a hidden key that leads you to another path. This allows you to go to the next level and skip the world. And yes, it can lead you all the way to the final world. Once you go through all 5 secret exits, another star is opened in the middle, which finally leads us to the real end of the game, the special world. We get 8 final levels that give us a final challenge. These levels consist of
Gnarly, Tubular, Way Cool, Awesome, Groovy, Mondo.
Mondo, what the fuck is Mondo?
Outrageous,
And
Funky.
these levels are the ones I had the most difficulty with. I will say, not all of them are great. Tubular uses the P balloon for like the entire level. And in concept, it's a good idea. But, fuck it, I'll just talk about it right now. The P balloon sucks, but it's not really a power-up you hate in my opinion. Hell, they even tried to bring it back in some form, and I think it worked those times. You just move too slow when using it, and for me that kills the power-up and kills the level in general. Way Cool really tested my patience though. These fucking names, man, my god. The level consists of you needing to ride this conveyor, occasionally needing to switch to a rope, and needing to use these on and off blocks. I died a lot when playing this level. The amount of things you need to pay attention to and dodge make this level extremely frustrating, but extremely rewarding once you complete it. And I can say that about most of these levels. That's what I really like about these levels. Although there were points where it felt like the developers were just throwing random bullshit at you, the way they twist level ideas, how they utilize all of the enemies, and all of the special little gimmicks they add, make it so much more satisfying once you complete it all. After going through the fucking gauntlet that is funky, you get a nice little message at the end of the stage. You are a super player. And that's it. That's the end of the game. The way you unlock them, and that goes for all the secrets in this game. The reason why I think the secrets and puzzles in the world are more interesting and overall better than Mario 3 are for one big reason. It's all optional. Besides the forest, the secret exits, and the 2 worlds are all completely optional. You don't need to do any of that to fully enjoy this game, but you should. Super Mario World. I'm gonna be honest, before I even made this video, I didn't think this game was that special. I just lumped it in with 3 and 64. Games that I found to be extremely overrated. Like, I played it a long time ago, and I thought it was okay, I guess. Then, I played Super Mario Advance 2. It wasn't incredible, but god damn, it was such a fun experience. And now, as I finally played the original SNES version, yeah, I get it. I get why people love this game. Super Mario World is one of the most well-made, well-designed, and overall one of the best 2D platformers I have ever played. A 9 out of 10. This is like the first video where I've been like overly positive towards something. I'm not done with these retrospectives, but I will say this. Making this video and the video I made on Mario 3 has given me a newfound respect for these older Mario games. I never hated them, but I never found them that interesting. But as I went through these 4 games, it made me realize why Mario is such an important franchise to me, and I hope I can discuss this more when I talk about Mario 64. Be sure to like and subscribe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Moments of calm, nothing left to be found. A mirror right in front of me, that's where I found
Mary Jane.
Yo, what the fuck?